Hello and welcome to Huntington School wants you to embrace England for 2021. My name is Jim Tomlinson. I'm the lead ambassador for Huntington School and also the head of Embrace England. As I'm sure you're aware, we have been running long stay and short stay programs for German students for the last 10 years, and we now have 30 partner schools in Germany, and we offer subsidies for their students only. And it's been an amazing 10 years. It really has. We've managed to have over 3,000 students come on the short stay programs, and many of those were inspired to return for our next stepping stone, a stay at Huntington School. And we've had 150 long-term students come and enjoy 1 year, 2 year, 6 month, 3 month stays at Huntington School. So today I'm going to take you through a presentation on both the long and the short stay program. If you have any questions at the end of it, then on the very last slide of the presentation there is details of a Skype drop-in session where I will take questions and answers. It can be on the long or the short stay, anything that you may have at the end of the presentation, or of course you can email me or even ring me if you wish, but the details are all on the last slide, so please access that if you wish. Okay, so here we go, a few presses, and we hope we can get to the presentation. And here, a welcome from teachers and of course our German class of 2019-2020. The gentleman on the right, very important man, John Thompson, the head teacher. John is a Eurocentric based principal, so is the school, so very keen to keep work with our German friends and neighbours. And next to John is Rita Bose, our head of English for the short stay programs and also the online programs, which I will talk to you about a little later on, of course, all the students. And perched at the back is Chris Hardwell, our director of sixth form. Very important man is Chris. I work very closely with Chris, and Chris is responsible for all the students and the curriculum. Of course, myself, my job is to look after students in the short stay, the Embrace England short stay, and to be the person that often comes and travels to Germany to do recruitment along with Rita, and I will take the students through the application process of the long stay. And probably the most important person is Mandy Tomlinson, the pastoral coordinator, because she looks after the students every week, sees them every week, and is the person that is a contact point for German parents, the host families, the curriculum. So this is a big part of what we do, the pastoral support, very, very important. Okay, so where is York? Well, York is in the middle of the country, as you can see here, and it is a 2-hour train ride from Edinburgh, 2-hour train ride from London. It is a gorgeous city and the UK's second most visited city, and if you came you'd understand why. It's a small population, small city, 200,000, and the whole city is surrounded by a medieval wall. You can see the students walking around there, and dominating in the middle is York Minster, Europe's largest Gothic perpendicular cathedral, and you'll notice straight away that there is no high-rise buildings in York, and the reason being is that we don't want any buildings to spoil the city centre, and you can see it's a medieval city centre, beautiful, and it blends with the new shops, contemporary shops. It's a multicultural city, vibrant, busy. Everybody that comes here loves it. And 2.5 miles out of the city centre is Huntington School. This is not Hogwarts. This is a state school, and it was awarded outstanding status in 2017 by Ofsted, which is a government body which inspects the schools. Very hard to get that status, and the school obviously prides itself in being able to offer 3-month, 6-month, 1 year or 2 year stay opportunities for students from Germany. There are 1,600 students in the school, 300 of which are in the sixth form. They don't have to wear uniform, but all the other students do. Here's some of our ex-students. You'll see that each year there is around about 20 students. These guys are super dynamic, really. They do sprinkle that European sophistication, that touch of German magic, if you like, on the sixth form. Massive impact that they have. They have achieved unbelievable results. Last year we didn't have one student that got less than a grade B. All A's and B's, and all these students, we've never had a failure from any of them in any of the courses. So we do actively try and recruit dynamic, academically capable students whose English is good. They all have one thing in common. They've all chosen 4 A levels. Now, unlike the Abitur in Germany, where you have to do English, Maths, Science, Humanities and a language, here you choose whatever you wish to study. The students, well, they have a range of options, really. Some choose traditional subjects like mathematics as a way of preparing them for the Abitur when they return back to Germany. The students have said when they have gone back to Germany to do the science and the math subjects, it's easy after they've done the year with us. That's not our words, that's what they've told us. Some of the students will do things which they can't do in Germany, such as health and social care, or sociology, psychology. Media studies is very popular. It's an expansive curriculum with over 30 selections available for the students. This is a wonderful profile, just to give you an idea of how things can happen. This is Julius Backhouse, wonderful student, wonderful man. Julius came to us as a 13-year-old student on a short stay camp, and he did 3 short stay camps. Julius was a child genius, just incredibly intelligent, and he was determined to come to Huntington School. We couldn't wait to have him, and at the end of the first year, he had achieved the highest grade in the whole of the sixth form. This is a German student in their second language. Amazing. He stayed for his second year, where we repeated the process, and he applied to go to Oxford University. Getting into Oxford is not easy. Julius managed it. We put a sort of pastoral program together for him to prepare him for the interview, to get him ready, and off he went. And he got his place, and he achieved a first-class honours in science over 3 years, and then went on to do his master's degree at Oxford University. Dreams do come true. Not every student's like Julius, but it does give you an idea of what can happen. He followed all the stepping stones. So the long stay options, what are available? Well, the 1 and 2 year options were where we started, and the tuition fees were free. The tuition fees are £5,000 per year. The student does not have to pay 1 penny of that. The reason being that we were members of the European Union, and it would be the same if an English student came to study at an Oberstufe in Germany. So it counts. It's far better for German students because we know that their language skills are so much better than English students. So it tends to be one-way traffic, really. The students, they enjoyed pre-tuition fees and, of course, huge subsidies on their host families, which accrue to £250 per month for all our partner school students. The tuition fees are still free for 2020. We're not sure if they're going to be free for 2021. No one knows. It's still part of the transitional negotiations. But I'll speak to you about that in a second. The 6 month and 3 month, they do not qualify for any tuition fee reduction. There is a cost for those. Just to emphasize, non-profit making, we are not agents, okay? We are a school offering provision to our German friends and partner schools. The students that complete 2 years at Huntington School, they have an option to go to St John University, which for many of them is a return to the university where they did their short stay programs. They have guaranteed places to study business or sport studies. This is a lovely photograph. This is one family where we had each of the children on one step. Youngest sister, Josie, she was completing her 14-day program with us, and at the same time her older sister, Lizzie, was doing a 1-year program at Huntington School, and then Johannes, the eldest brother, he was doing his degree at St John University. So one family, each step of the program. Won't happen again, I'm sure. Okay, the important parts of finance. we've touched upon this. Brexit does mean that tuition fees may be compromised for 2021. We just don't know. But if the fees are no longer free, then Huntington School will pay for its partner school students the following. £2,000 of the £5,000 will be paid for by Huntington School, made possible by the short-term stays. Now, if the student decides to stay for their second year, then all of the tuition fees will be paid by Huntington School. On top of that, all of the host family payments for partner schools are reduced by £200 per month, again courtesy of the short stay programs. So the host family costs are £650 per month, not £850, which is the cost for a non-partner school student. The 3-month and 6-month options, there is a cost. They are too short to qualify for an tuition fee remission. And the student has a choice. They can come for 3-month options, either September to Christmas, January to Easter, or Easter to summer. The choice is entirely theirs. If they wish to come for the summer programme, you'll notice the cost is only £1,000, not £2,000, because it is a shorter term. Add all those up and you get your £5,000 tuition fees. If you decide to do a 6-month option, then it's very straightforward. You simply can come from September to Easter, or you can come from January to summer. And the cost will be dependent on whether you choose option 1 or 2, which is £4,000, or you may choose option 2 and 3, which is £3,000. Here's some information in terms of general expectations, which we've put in German so nothing is lost in translation. Important note about the host families. All the host families are checked, CRB checked, which is an English term meaning that they're checked for anything like criminal records, etc. They are good citizens. We spend a lot of time training the host families, and most of them have graduated from doing the short stay programs, and so we know they're used to looking after German students, and we know that it works well. The money includes breakfast, pack up in the daytime, and a full evening meal, all laundry services, and of course the student has their own room. Most of the host families might have 1 German student, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. It works very, very well. Just a reminder there about the age issues in terms of 16 to 18, and just to remind you that we do consider 15-year-olds as well. And how easy is the process? It's very straightforward. You just apply to myself. I know a lot of the students that apply for the long stay because they've done a short stay, but I take them through the application process, and we must have a 2-day induction program in June where the German student comes with their parents to get to know the school, meet the staff, take the parents through all the important aspects of the stay. And it means that when the stay starts in September, it is a seamless transition. The induction also gives the opportunity for the parents and the students to meet the host family, to visit the house and talk about important things like diet, use of key, all the mechanical issues of making sure the student has a settled environment. The host families and the German students work really well. It's not a foolproof. Occasionally we'll have an issue or problem. Maybe it's the student's problem, maybe it's the host, maybe it's a bit of both, a clash of personalities. It's impossible to get right 100% of the time. If that happens, Mandy, she's key in all this. She will liaise with the parents, liaise with the host, liaise with the students, try and fix the problem. If it can't be fixed, then we'll move the students to another host. If there's another problem with another host, then we will see if we can move to a third host as well. But that's very, very rare. Moving on, just to give you an idea of the difference between ourselves and big commercial companies, if you are interested in long stays, I'm sure you've done your research, you'll notice that the cost per year is around about £30,000 to £35,000. Payments up front, there's non-refundable contracts. Often the student can't return home in the holidays. There is nothing like that with ourselves. We do not have any contracts. We operate on goodwill, and it's worked superbly well for 10 years. The students, of course, they can go home in the holidays if they wish. That's not an issue, or they can stay with their host family. The key thing is our pastoral system with Mandy. And I think if you spoke to any of the students doing the long stay, they will say that Mandy is absolutely key. She is available for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that is also applicable to the German parents back home. It gives comfort, gives support, and makes the whole process easy. So that's a lot about the long-term stay. If you have any more information, email me and I'll send you an information pack, and you can take all the details in at your leisure. Now, what if you don't know if you like living in England for a year? What if you don't feel your English is good enough to study in an English school? What if you want to experience English culture but don't want to commit to a long-term stay? Well, we created our Embrace England language holidays for 13 to 18-year-olds 10 years ago, and you'll see some of the students here, and we're based at St John University, not Huntington School, because Huntington School is shut during the Easter and the summer recess. The university is open every day of the year, and it's vibrant and bouncy every day of the year. And of course, it's in the city centre, so everything is accessible by foot. So it's a wonderful place to go. And of course, it means those students that want to return for the third step of the programme have already had a taste of university life. This is our mantra, happy and safe. Anybody that works with me will say that I am obsessed with keeping the students safe. I have nothing but, yes, I'll admit to that. So I am probably a little bit obsessive, but I want to make sure those students are looked after. I want them to have a great first step at the short stay. I want them to have confidence to apply for the long stay, where again they're looked after very well, and then confidence to go on to their university life if they choose to do so. Where does this happy and safe mantra start? It starts in the airport when we pick up the students. Myself or my staff will come to the respective German airport, whether it's Düsseldorf, Hamburg, Cologne, Frankfurt, and you'll notice that we register the students, meet the parents, and if you look carefully, you'll see some of these students have a wonderful made in Paris high-vis jacket, because they've become the team leaders of their group. And we operate tightly, efficiently, really important to operate as a team, particularly when we're going through the hustle and bustle of London on the underground. You can imagine what that's like. When we arrive at Heathrow, we then go north by bus to our host families who are waiting at York. Here's a typical host family: a mother, a father, 2 sons, a daughter, a dog, a parrot, a goldfish. Listen, we have lots of those type of host families. We also have host families that are divorced, single, black, Asian. Doesn't make any difference to us, as long as they offer a warm welcome, speak in English, the house is clean, and the house is a lot smaller generally than they are in Germany. And of course, free laundry services, everything is washed. And critically, we all know, don't we, that the British food is the best food in the world. No? Right, I can hear you laughing at the other end of this computer screen here. Well, listen, our families, they make good food, good balanced diets, and really we want to try and keep the energy level students up for the 2 weeks, so we ensure the food is good. And the students stay in pairs or occasionally in 3. There's never more than 2 students per room. So if there is a 3, there'll be 2 in one room and 1 in the other. Unless, of course, the students all want to be in a 3, that's not a problem. We don't have students travelling alone. England is a very safe country. York is a super safe city, but I still do not want to have any student travelling alone because I want them to be happy and safe. So that's why we have the students in 2 and 3, because they travel to York every day on the bus and return on the bus. And listen, when they're in pairs, they speak more English in the houses. We've discovered that. They're more confident, they're there, they can help each other with their language, etc. So it works wonderfully well. Here we go. This is where the students do their short stay program. This is St John University. This is Hogwarts. And I say that because actually this was used as the front face of Hogwarts in the film. So a great mixture between old, typical ivy growing up the the side of the walls, the walls which I know German students expect to see in every British university, and of course a real mixture of old and new, a bit like the city itself. These are cutting-edge facilities at St John. Every single classroom is digitalised. There isn't a blackboard in any UK school or any university, and there hasn't been for 35 years. So the students are taught by skilled practitioners of technological digitalised teaching, all of which are self-qualified. And many of these students work at Huntington School, some don't, but they are all self-qualified. Small classes, and each student has a login for free data, and they can use all of the 1,600 computers that are Apple or Microsoft around the university. They are everywhere. We do not have locked doors. We're not into barriers to learning. We're into increasing opportunities for learning. So one of the students there is, I don't know, probably working on their presentation or doing some work for the classes. The classes, yeah, we want to push these students as much as we can over the 2 weeks, and we want to assess their levels of English, don't we, for those that are interested in returning to Huntington School. Yes, they get homework. I can see all the parents going, great, and all the students going, oh. But you know what? It's so important to get the students into the working ethos of what life will be like at Huntington School, where homework is relentless, but it gives you at the end of the year all the written and oral skills that you will ever want. Here the students doing some speaking presentations under pressure. They have to speak fluently, etc., etc. And of course, in all of the classes, we don't have German. Deutsch sprechen ist verboten. We don't have it in the classes, and of course, when they are at home with their host families. Of course, the students will speak German when they're relaxing, and we want them to. They have a lot of pressure on themselves for the 2 weeks. School's out when the class is finished. This is when we really try and brainwash the students to come back and think that York is the most fantastic place ever. So the sports, we do everything, all the sports you can imagine in world-class facilities. We also try and teach some of the English sports like cricket, tug of war, or netball, which is the Germans are brilliant. Anything with a ball, netball, rugby, they're fantastic. We also have dance and performing art workshops, again in top class facilities, and these students have to perform at the end of the 2 weeks in front of everybody at the certification ceremony, so something to aim for. We do things like problem solving, again, working out problems in English. I think this is to do with climate warming, and Helena, we give responsibility to students to try and improve their leadership. Helena, she was a student who came for the long stay afterwards, after she did the short stay. I love this photograph. This is 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning after the first week. This is where we have fitness sessions for the early birds. We also run films, or the students can come to the library to work on assignments and so on and so forth. But we are here available. We want to maximise the time for these students. If some of the students are shattered after the first week, then yes, they can have a lie-in. But of course, the lessons start later in the day. So these are German students with German steel working out early on. We also have extra English lessons. I tend to take these. So we look at playwrights like Alan Bennett, his use of nuance and subtext, try and get the students to write in his style. We also look at the wonderful British press. We look at broadsheets and tabloids. We look at the grammatical structure of those and try and get the students to replicate the style using similar grammatical construct. We visit some great local attractions in New York, like the York Dungeon. Try and get the students scared. It's a lot of fun. It brings all the students together, as does the disco nights, where we have 2 nights. The Germans are the best dancers. It always happens. They start dancing, they start clapping, they start getting on the stage, they start following each other. Girls start going crazy, and the boys usually go crazy looking at the girls. We also have karaoke, which again is just great fun. The students get up and they start singing the songs, often singles or groups. And of course, we want people to embrace England. We want them to sample different parts of England. So it's not just York, and we go to Manchester and we visit the Trafford Centre, which is Europe's largest shopping centre. Or the students may decide they want to go to Manchester United. which, as we all know, is the greatest football team in the world. That's a fantastic tour. If you're not a football fan, it makes no difference. It's a wonderful tour. The changing rooms, all the corporate boxes, tour by the guide, etc. Just lots of fun. We also go to Scarborough for another excursion, which is the UK's oldest seaside resort. Can you see here? It's got a wonderful headland, and the sun shines in Scarborough. You know, the sun always shines there. This was taken 4 years ago. This was taken a couple of years ago. Same place. Do you see these two students here? See those two guys? We never saw them again. Happy and safe. Of course we did. But the weather does change a little bit in England. But then we hop on the bus from Scarborough and we go to the North York Moors. Again, totally different from topography in Germany. They see moorland, and we wind our way up to Robin Hood's Bay, a smuggler's village, the 16th, 17th, 18th century. This place hasn't changed for 400 years, and at the bottom of the village there are the smugglers' caves, which bring all the tobacco and the rum, etc., through into the town. And then we will go to Pickering, which was used as Hogsmeade Station in the Harry Potter movies. We get a lot of Harry Potter fans, less so now than a few years ago, but you'll notice here this is the original steam train that was used in the film, and it's black. In the film it had to be painted to red. Here's the Hogsmeade Station on Pickering Station. All these carriages were used in the movie, so the students could get on there. And we were so lucky last year because guess who we saw on the platform? We saw Harry himself. Harry Potter was there, ready to get on the train. Actually, this student here came on a long stay as well. He was fantastic, and he was inspired by the short stay. And this is why we take the students in the second week to Huntington School, so they can get a real taste of the school and what it means if they want to come and do a 3-6 month stay or a 1 or 2 year stay. So we take them through the curriculum, the interview, everything we take them through when they're there. This is just some small section of some of the students that came down a few years ago. Mariam's just with us now. She just finished this year. Andrea, she finished last year. And this student here, he came down, he was doing the long stay, and he came and helped with the students to give an opinion from the student side. So we hope some of those students return to Huntington School. At the end of the 11 days, we have our presentation award, and here's Ian, one of our teachers, giving the certificates. All the certificates will give a breakdown of the student's level against the European Common Framework, and it will try and give areas for them to work on in the future. So they are detailed. If anybody speaks in the presentation, we use a little bit of good old-fashioned English discipline. Well, not really. This is Max, and we were giving him a pair of earrings because he was the world's worst disco dancer. And we do all sorts of silly things in the presentation. We call it the Embrace England Silly Awards, where we give awards for anything that has been fun, something that will just make the students remember, you know, and have a great time. So there's Max. I hope he's still got those earrings. Then when we finished in York, and after 11 days, the students are ready. They want to now hit the big city. So away we go down to London, where we see everything that you'd expect to see. The Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, or as one of the students called Big Ben, the Big Ding Dong, a few years ago, which I thought was very funny. Bizarrely, the students love all the attractions, as you can imagine, but the funny thing is that when they see the bands, the pageantry, everything around Buckingham Palace, it's when they see the English red telephone boxes that they become bewildered and bemused. It always happens every year. They will start taking photographs of the red telephone box. They will then move slowly to the red telephone box. And for reasons which only Germans can tell us, they see how many students can get into the red telephone box. Our record is 13 in the red telephone box, and they still managed to make a phone call. The students, we stay in great lodges, only 10 to 15 minutes away from the city centre by the tube, and we spend really little time there because we're out all the time. And as soon as we go back to the lodge on day one, have our evening meal, we're back out to London on the night to experience the lights, the theatre land, the magic of London on a night time. And what better way to finish than the London Eye? The big ding dong looks a bit more like the small ding dong there. And we hope that the students finish on a huge high. We've worked hard to get them to feel that this is the best 2 weeks of their life. And for many of those kids it is. But of course we hope that maybe just a handful of these students will return back to Huntington School. That's our want, our ambition. Some of the students we'll never see again, which is absolutely fine. We hope they go back with great memories and made some great friends. Here are the booking details for the short stay camp. Before I take you through each region, please note we are booking up so quickly now. Many of the students from 2020, where the camps were cancelled because of COVID, have simply rolled on their bookings. We had to obviously give that option. So it means some of our camps are already full. So example there, summer 2, it's now full. So if you are interested in the camps, please note, book early because it will become full. We always do. So there is NRW and there's Hessen. And the opportunities to access all 3 camps is not possible for all these regions because obviously the summer, the holidays rotate in Germany. So we do the best we can, try and make it as fair as we can. So here, Hessen, they've got places available for Easter, but I'm sorry, none for summer 2. But we do have the online programs that will help with that, which I'll talk about in a second. And there's Hamburg, so they've got summer 1 as an option, Schleswig-Holstein, Easter and summer 1 as an option. And Bayern, really sorry for Bayern students because summer 2 is already booked up. Nothing we can do about that. I do apologise so much, but it's just the victim of COVID for this year. But this might be a wonderful option instead. We were so worried about the camps being booked so early that for next year we are running 2 online courses. We ran them for the first time this year. We've had fantastic reviews, and I have to say the online course provision is totally different from what you've experienced in Germany. We have virtual tours of York, Manchester, Scarborough, etc., London. We build all the grammar teaching around that. So the student, although they're not actually in York, they will feel as if they are, and they will have a typical teaching that we give on the short stay camps as well. Gets as a feeling of the student, and of course at the end of it, if they're interested in coming to the long stay programs, we've got to know them as equally well through the 2 weeks, probably better in some ways because the class sizes here are a maximum of 6. So this is certainly an option for anybody that wants to have a taste of York. Please go to our Embrace England website and look for online learning, and you'll see more details of that, more information. Finally, here is the details of our Skype sessions that we are running, and we're doing those on Monday the 5th, Tuesday 6th, or the 7th of October. You can choose any of those if you want to come and listen to some questions and answers, and I will take that for you. If you do prefer to speak to a German speaker, then please ring Rita Bowes or give her a call or email her, but I will be doing the Skype sessions. So I hope that has really helped today, and I would just like to thank you for your time, and I hope the long and short stay programs is something that you will consider in the future. Until then, please, everybody, stay safe, and I'm sorry I can't be with you this year, but I hope that next year things start to return to normal. So all the very best from ourselves, and please take care. Bye now.